So, a few questions here. Someone asks, there is body contemplation, contemplation of death. Can I contemplate things such as my work, my relationship, with the fear of failing? How do I do it? Well, it begins, as I've mentioned, perhaps I already answered it in some respect, this quality of viveka. That gives one a sense of, rather than being involved with something, you're detached from it, perspective on it. So, for example, you can do any number of things with the body. You can step back and, okay, then you... It means, in a way, this bonding to experience is what creates the identity with them. So if there's that bonding to body and the sense of I am this body, but clearly we can reflect, well, if I cut my fingernails off, I'm still here. If I lose a hand, I'm still here. If I lose an arm, I'm still here. As it gets old, bits fall off, I'm still here. So I'm not bound up with this bonded to this body in that respect, in the anatomy. And so then we can consider anatomy, the physical aspects, muscles, bones, tissues, flesh, blood, lungs, and it's just that, isn't it? There's a physical body. So we can see that, and then you can recognize any sense of identity or distaste or fascination with the body. And then that emotional bond. That emotional bond is also something there's that emotional bond. I'm worried about my body. I wish my body was bigger or stronger or prettier. An emotional bond. And there's that. Also, that emotional bond, it's not me, it's just an energy. And then there's a quality called dispassion. It's just the body. It's not good or bad, it's just there it is, So with that there's a sense of coolness. Contemplate it. Now we can still recognize the ability to reflect on the body requires the presence of a body. So that we're not bonded to it, we're certainly arising in a context where the body keeps presenting itself. That's why it's important to keep that awareness, because in this lifetime, there's an involvement with this embodied experience. That's where the energy comes up, in this, and we're constantly meeting phenomena that depend upon a body, such as touch, I'm a place, I'm here. I'm here. Where this thing is, I'm here. And when it moves, I'm moving. So that's the orientation, isn't it? That's the orientation. But when you recognize what that orientation is, it's not actually the anatomy, it's something else. It's not, what's here, it's not something we see with our eyes. It's a sense of stable presence. And that's comes with body. Now, without a body, Chitta is just ghost, floating everywhere. As we know, ghosts are looking for something, help, quite lost, because they've lost their bodies. So they don't know where they are. And they're hungry and they're confused and they're upset and they don't know where they are. Because he's got nothing to orient around. So they tend to orient around houses. Well, that's my house. Or other people, that's my wife. Because they don't have a body to feel grounded in. So we both contemplate that. And then it says, oh yes, this. And from this position, being embodied, I can feel presence, stability, emotions rising up, energies moving through, breathing in and out. It's that. And of course, that's still not self. It's just, this is what we took on in birth. And we're in this. And yet, not bonded to it. There's a release from the body. It has to be worked out. Now, contemplation is this sense of viveka, stepping back, and then vitaka, pointing to something, and vichara, handling it. How's this? Considering it. What's this mean to me? Why is it important? Where's the emotional involvement with it? And where's the pleasure or the pain or the aversion or the worry? So you begin to extract through that. So contemplation of death, for example, everybody sure dies. It's more sure than getting born, actually. So having been born, it's for sure death occurs. It's the most reliable thing. And yet we dread it, fear it. So very important to contemplate what that is, because actually seems to be a lie. So at the moment, death is just an idea. Other people die. I don't die. He died. She died. But I don't die because I haven't. So what's it about? I don't know. Don't know what happened. So you worry about it. So you could say, what does it mean to you? It means fear. I don't know what happened. It means it might be painful. Don't like that. It means there's no future. It means I lose touch with sensory reality. So when you bring it up, so this is what will happen. This is what will happen. It's good to consider this because then you recognize, okay, the future is really just a possibility. It's not a sure thing. So don't get so driven to the future. Possessions, you can't take them with you. Don't get so concerned about possessions. Because you can't take it. If you get involved with them, you get stuck and it's stuck and you've got to look after them. I remember this is what people could be like. I was visiting some lay people. One was 89, one was 85. I said, his house, he can't look after it. So got all these vases, beautiful porcelain vases and antiques. There's so much work to look after. So I said, we'll just get rid of it. We give it auction sale or give it away, sell it, get rid of it. Oh, I can't get rid of it. But why not? Well, it's ours, you know. So you spend your life. Look, you're 85 years old, right? You get to the point where it's difficult to keep functioning, and you want to hang on to a vase. You know, that's what happens in bonding. You see, this is bonding. There's nothing wrong with a vase or a chair, but the bonding, it becomes what I am. It makes me secure. That's deadly because your mind is always into that you must lose. You've got to lose it. So you're being pulled over by this stuff. You see it, you think, cut it off quick before it kills me. It strangles me. You know? Then also, so you can say, okay, let's get right back in. And, the grudge keeps me alive. I'm never going to forgive you. No. So, people are like towards the end of life, 80 or 90, still resentment. Presence of pain rather than always scratching at it. And then, okay, everybody offends somebody. Everybody says something stupid. Everybody it gets hurt. Everybody. Where's the me in all that? What's so special about you? You're the only one who ever got treated badly in the entire history of the human race. Everybody gets it. Get over it. And you've probably done it to somebody else who's never going to forgive you. You can contemplate death. You can contemplate what's happening in your heart. And if you're coming to reflect upon death, as you recommended to, what do you want to take with you? I'd like to say thank you. I'd like to take that. Okay, thank you. Say, I'm sorry. I did make a few mistakes. Sorry about that. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. And take your virtue with you. I've learned something. I've learned truthfulness. I made mistakes. I learned from them. I've learned loving kindness. I've learned gratitude. I've learned forgiveness. Take that. Sadhu. So you clean your heart every day. Otherwise, all this stuff gets stuck in it. You contemplate your job. Again, we get very much identified with it because in a way that's what work is about. Really take your work seriously, get involved with it. You can become better, you get promotion, you're a good director, secretary, dentist, whatever, that's what you are. No, you contemplate what's the bond? Where's the bond in that? Where's the grip in that? So no, this is just a gift we have as humans is we can choose to direct our skills elsewhere. We can choose. We don't just have to live on instinct. Animals, they've just got to get food, mates, shelter. We got choice. We can say, I'll go this way. We're special creature. So then, okay, what I want to do is help out. Very good. I can do this. At the same time, maybe I'm not so good at it, or maybe there's a time when I'm losing capacity. Let it go. A friend of mine, his father worked for a big engineering company, and he was the manager of this big engineering company of a division. And they said, "Oh, we're shutting that division down because of cutting cost." And he couldn't take. He hung himself. He just couldn't bear losing his job. And his whole life had been based upon this job. Without it, he hung himself. And the company said, "Oh, sorry, sent some flowers to the funeral." That was it. You've got to remember this. In the commercial world, you are just, if they can get rid of you, they will. Cut costs. So, what do you want to direct your service to, your capacities to? Look after people, bring forth your strength, get your requisites together. Don't get stuck in it. Relationships, contemplate relationships. People get stuck in that. Sometimes all kinds of arguments with each other. What you are, what you aren't, you should be this, you don't do this for me, and you always have to do that. And you think, oh, goodness me, you don't understand me, and you never do that. Oh, God. Why keep it going? Because it's a bonding, isn't it? This bonding quality is so instinctive. And then, is it worth it? No. So we say, if you find someone you can, space in your relationship means I can talk to you, we can agree, we can disagree, and that's, yeah, okay. That's your life. I'm me, you're you. And separate, but at the same time, we can get on with each other. We can share things, we can learn, we can even disagree. There's a sense of space, not asking you to belong to me. You don't belong. Why do we bond? Why is it that such that identification? We want to belong to something. What does that mean? To belong to something. I feel secure. I know who I am. I can guarantee the future. Can you? Can you guarantee the future? Are you secure? If that breaks down, as it will do one day, how secure is that? Does it make you secure? What do you want to belong to? Belong to Dhamma. Belong to truth. That doesn't break down. And then I am. That's who I am. I belong to virtue. I belong to clarity. I belong to goodwill. That's where I am. I'm not in all this. I'm here, and I'm involved with all this, with dispassion, with detachment, with discernment, and I choose. That's the gift, that's the practice of contemplation. So I mentioned during Qigong making a circle with the arms and concentrate within the ring of arms. I found it very helpful to calm the mind. Is there something similar to help calm the mind during sitting or standing meditation? So if you're sitting still, you can feel there's something stable here, and there's something breathing here, and something moving here. We come to the skin. I know I have skin. There's a tingly sense. And then what's beyond that? Extending. Because there is something, isn't there? It's called nothing. A space. Space. Now, if there wasn't space, I'd be squashed. Right? If there's no space, I'd be squashed and crushed. But there is space, otherwise it'll be squashed and crushed. That space is an essential, important aspect of being embodied. You can't walk without it. Right? You think walking requires legs. You can have 100 legs. You don't have any space. You can't walk. Right? So the space is very much. You can't say it's part of your anatomy, but it's part of your embodied experience. You're embodied within space. Now, of course, it doesn't have sensation in it. What's that? I can't feel. No, but you can feel the openness. Now, quite commonly, characteristically, because of the senses, we don't acknowledge space. You know, I can see the outline of your body. That's you. The space around you, I don't see it, so I can't see it. You can't see it. So I think all that, so you are that shape. But you don't experience that. And you come into actually, and then of course in our daily life when we're seeing things, you feel this visual contact pulls sights towards you, doesn't it? Oh, look at that. Oh, here comes that. Oh, there's that sound coming at me. So we end up kind of really stuck inside this with all these senses jumping in, right? So we end up quite defended, particularly in a city life. There's so much stuff that the energy withdraws because the contact is so overwhelming. So your energy withdraws. So you end up quite hard skin, defended, contracted inside. And then, of course, once you're like that, you're in a contracted state, closed in. And this is where a lot of problems begin, just with that, because you're closed in. So you get very obsessive. It's all, there's no room. Do you understand that? So the energy's contracted. If there's open space, energy's not contracted, everything calms down. Yeah. So when I visit cities, I visit New York. You see, and when you visit New York, have a conversation. It's like that. There's no space between the words. It's just because everything's really sharp. When you go to somewhere really where there's a lot of space, people say, yeah, yeah. Can you ask them a question? They go, yeah. Yeah, think about that. It's slow because the space, the energy is not so contracted. Mm. No, you can't see it, but you can just bear it in mind. What would it be like if right in front of you, open space, with nothing jumping in, nothing you have to defend yourself from. What would it be like? So your chest could open. You don't have to swell it, but just you could feel free. What would it be like? And there it is. It is that. You are it. Because, because if the senses aren't jumping in, then your natural energy comes out. This is normal. Now, particularly when you walk, this is really great because when you walk like you have this bubble and the sights and sounds, but you stay in that. It's just like being a ship moving through the sea and the waves parting around you. Sights, sounds, cars, trees, faces, and you stay in your space. Somebody comes up to you, and you just kind of contemplate the space behind them. And it comes here, so yeah, but I'm not. So that cools the responses to things. Because your energy is not contracted. Very similarly, if we cultivate non-aversion, non-fascination, non-entanglement, psychologically you do that same quality. The energy is not agitating, contracting, fascinated, averse. Mental space opens up. Of course, the space. Thoughts have to arise within a space, otherwise they couldn't arise and pass. So it's the involvement that reduces the space. Yeah, understand? The involvement, the bonding. We have our kind of morning meeting, say in the monastery, and they say, okay, here's the list of what we're doing today. Today there's a group of school children coming at 9:00 and Ajahn so-and-so will talk to them. Okay. And there's a building project. We want 3 people to help do that. Okay. And somebody's cooking the meal. Who's cooking the meal? She is. Needs 3 helpers. Volunteers, please. Okay. All right. And we need something to do with the washing up. Yeah. Does anybody? Oh, so-and-so needs to go to the dentist. Everybody can drive a car to the dentist. I'm exhausted. Oh, so much stuff going on. Because all the information, it's condensed and you feel overwhelmed. But it's just thoughts. It's just thoughts. It's just movements with various degrees of emotional agitation. That's all it is. There's nothing happening, really. Oh, someone sends in a question, one of the listeners. So the person mentions that I've said one time the world begins and ends in the body. And they say, I'm rather used to hearing that the mind is the source of everything. Can you clarify this, please? They're both true in a way. There's this saying, why I take this world begins and ends in the body. It's a dialogue between the Buddha and a Devata who could enormous stride. He could stride across the world with 3 strides. And the Buddha said, you don't get to the end of the world by walking. The world begins and ends in the body. In the body, with its consciousness, perceptions and feelings, right? With its mind, perceptions and feelings, the world begins. And with the ending of that, the world ends. So the mind involved with the body. Now, it's not in some particular location in the physical anatomy, but it's involved with the experience of embodiment. So, for example, every time I see something, it reminds me, I could see that it reminds me, I'm here looking at it. Yeah. It gives me a place, position. I'm here looking at it. I'm here listening to it. Because the sense organs all come back to this place here. So, and they occur together. So, and my mind helps that. So I look out, maybe see a cat. And I see the cat, the color of the cat, but also I get the memory of a cat and the emotional pleasure with it about the cat. All those come together, they create the cat. Now you could say the cat exists independent of you. Not that cat doesn't. That moment of experiencing the cat depends upon the cat. It depends upon sight, memory, perception, impression. So my world is bonded very much to this whole apparatus. And these always say, you're here looking at it, you're here touching it. And the here is embodied. And how does the world end in the body? When those mental impressions, sense contact, emotional attachments and agitations cease, what's left? You touch the deathless in the body. It's not in the anatomy, but that sense of presence, is open, undisturbed, not bound up with sense consciousness. That's what's meant in this teaching, or this particular instance, by body. Not a physical body, it's a sense of embodied presence. So this is, perhaps it takes difficult to understand. Till you begin to examine and explore what tells you you have a location. Close your eyes. Still here. Stop thinking. Still here. What's that? And from that basis, the senses open and fabricate sight, sounds, touches, thoughts, memories, perceptions, so forth. So, of course, the agent in that is the mind. But the basis of the mind is embodied. Well, there are a few questions, but it's probably enough to consider this evening. And I'll tackle some of these tomorrow and anything else that I can manage. Thank you. So Would I like to bring up for our chanting to finish? To chant on the 10 parami. Ten parami, dana, sila, nekama, panya, virya, kanti, satya, adhitana, metta, upeka. Generosity, virtue, renunciation, discernment. It's on a sheet. It's on a sheet, not on the book. Discernment, energy, patience, truthfulness, resolution, kindness, and equanimity. Got it? Got it, Jerry? Do you have it? Okay. Second sheet. That's it. Yeah. Iti pitana parami sampanno so bhagava. Iti pitana upaparami sampanno so bhagava. Iti pitana parami sampanno so bhagava. Tipi sila parami sampanno so bhagava. Tipi sila upaparami sampanno bhagava. Tipi sila paramata parami Vanno so bhagava paramata parami Vanno so bhagava iti virya parami Vanno so bhagava iti virya upaparami Vanno so bhagava iti virya paramata Rame Sampanno So Bhagava Iti Parame Sampanno Bhagava Iti Vikanti Upaparame Vanno So Bhagava Iti Paramata Parame Sampanno Om Bhagava Iti Visajja Parame Om Vanno So Bhagava Iti Jawapa Parame Sampanno Om Bhagava Iti Visajja Paramata Parame Sampanno So Bhagava Iti Dana Parami Sambanno Om Bhagavan Iti Dana Wopa Rami Sambanno So Bhagavan Iti Dana Paramata Parami Sambanno So Bhagavan Iti Ida Parami Sambanno Om Bhagavan iti vimemda vaparame Vano so Bhagavan iti vimda Sambano Om Bhagavan iti vipeka Rame Sambano so Bhagavan Tibiyo Bhagavan Parame Sambano Om Bhagavan Tibiyo Bhagavara Daparame Sambano So Bhagavati. Someone rightly praises the Tathagata. These are 10 very good reasons why one affords him highest praise. And the Buddha said, if you want to afford me the greatest respect, you do the same. Plenty of opportunities. Plenty of opportunities. So let's conclude for the evening.